Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Badash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. In this video, I'm just going to go over briefly of the color of the Heavenly Father and His Son Yahweh Shai. Because as it says in John 14:9, as I'm going to read that right now, it says, Yahweh Shai saith unto him, Have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, and how sayest thou then, Show us the Father? And he was saying this because Yahweh Shai is the direct representation of the Heavenly Father. He was made perfect. And so when we read this and go into the book of Daniel, we go into the book of Revelation, and we see all of the history that is happening to our people, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. We are being risen up and being taught this truth. Like it says in Ezekiel 37, speaking about the dry bones, our people, we were once a dead valley in a through state, but according to Lamentations, the Heavenly Father has not altogether done away with us. He still has a promise for us, and part of that is us being risen back in the land of our captivity. We're gonna remember our heritage and who we are as a people. We're no longer Mexicans or Salvadorians or Sub-Saharan African or all these crazy nomenclatures that our enemy Esau Edom has placed upon us. We're breaking this covering casts through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're being risen back up. Like it even says in Ezekiel 37 that He's going to take the children from among the Gentiles, whether they be gone, and He's going to gather them from every side and bring them into our own land. Because there has been a great scattering, and us as the nation of Israel, wherever we go, we're going to be amongst the heathens and we're going to populate. And that's just basic common science, and how you come out as a person looking like a different nation, because we've gone through centuries of that happening to us. But now as we're coming back into this ministry, we're realizing who we are. We know and understand that we are the children of the Most High, and the Israelites have a type of complexion to them. So I'm going to read this here in Daniel 10, and I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as a lamp of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. And this was the Heavenly Father having His appearance as an austere man. His face is as lightning, meaning this is a person that means business. You don't want to upset this power, because we are going to be trembling with the power that the Heavenly Father is going to give us. We're going to be moved with fear. This is a person that you'd ought to respect. And as it's written here, it goes into his appearance, what he was wearing, how his eyes were as a lamp of fire. It goes into his feet and the color of it. And so it says from here in the blue letter I got, it says, like unto the polished brass. And if we go into the Hebrew word for brass there, it's nakasheth. And if you go into the outline biblical usage, it's copper, bronze. And it's plain and simple what that represents, why his feet look like that. Because us as the Israelites, that's how we look like. That's the complexion that we had when we left Egypt. Even further beyond that, as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand the story of what happened with Esau Edom. He came out withered away. That's why he was given that name Esau, because he was wasted away. He didn't have melanin, if you want to give it like a modern term and understanding of that. He was born leprous. And so I'm going to read this in Revelation 1:14, speaking about Yahweh Shai when He makes His grand appearance. And when he makes His grand appearance, every eye is going to see. There's going to be no disputing in that day. And any idle word is going to be held accountable in that day. So all these people like to proclaim that he's the so-called white man and this and that. The depiction that you have that's paraded around the world, it doesn't fit what's written about in the scriptures. And so this is in Revelation 1, and I'll read from verse 13. It says, And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were like wool. That's like I said, were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his hair, it even goes into the texture. It was like wool. Like if you look at a sheep, that's how his hair looked like. White being because he was a wise man. In verse 15 it says, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And this is Yahweh Shai coming in the appearance of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, the Ancient of Days. And so he's going to maneuver in that way also. Speak like him and act like him and do his will down here on the earth. The first thing he's going to do when he gets down here is to destroy these idols. Because Esau Edom has done the most with all of this wickedness and seances that the Heavenly Father is going to send his son to put order back into this world. The saints are going to take the earth and establish righteousness. And so this is here in the book of Job 9 and 24, because you have to remember this is Esau Edom's rulership, so he's going to put his gods in the forefront, and all these people are going to liken him like God, because that is basically Esau Edom's mindset, is that he is God, and he's going to set his castles and his thrones upon the stars. He's that guy who's basically doing these things in these last days, and he's fulfilling that prophecy. Because when the Heavenly Father returns, or when he sends his son to return, he's going to topple down the Babylonians, which is the daughter of Babylon, the Chaldeans, Esau Edom. And one of the things that they are guilty of doing is covering and depicting his appearance as an Edomite. This is in the book of Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And so right now, Esau Edom, the earth is given into him, and he covered the faces of the judges. Anybody in this world will think that Esau is the number one guy. He's basically the guy who's closest to the Heavenly Father. But that's not so. It's just this is that little season that earth was given unto him because of the prophecy of Esau Edom. And all the things that he got, it was through the sword. He coveted and stole, and he shed the blood of the innocent. And as he was doing that, he started depicting himself as the true rulers. If you speak to a random Edomite, he'll have you think that he's been here in America this whole time. And that whole psyop story that they say with Thanksgiving when they came here, that it was like a nice banquet or whatever. But we have the history. This devil has been revealed to know that all the things that he spews is just a bunch of lies. He came down here with the sword because that's his blessing. That's how he was able to take all these things. So this is in the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees 3 and 48. It says, actually, I'm going to start up a little bit. And this is, going into the book of Maccabees during that time period when the Greeks were trying to come into the temple. So this is in verse 47. It says, then they fasted that day and put sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. And these Edomites were literally doing the most in that time. That's why when they went to those places, they were trying to Hellenize the Israelites, trying to make them as if they are Greeks. And part of that is when they went to the temples, they started burning idols to their gods, slaughtering pigs and burning it on our altars. And then when they went into those temples, they went into those scrolls, they basically started plagiarizing. Because that's this devil. He's coveting not only actual resources, but history. He's the only person on earth who's stolen identities and nations like that. And the last precept I want to read, just going into this, that how the Israelites are depicted in the scriptures. Yeah, because we can go into how Esau is depicted and how his spirit is, how he maneuvers around the earth like a serpent. But this right here is like the best proof that you can go into the scriptures. In Exodus 4 and verse 6 it says, and the Lord saith furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And so Moses, when he went to the burning bush and the Heavenly Father was speaking to him, he basically was asking him how is he to prove that he's the Heavenly Father speaking to him through that burning bush. And he told him to put his hand on his bosom, and when he took his hand away from his bosom, his hand appeared leprous as snow. And so that represents that his hand wasn't already pale like these Edomites who are walking around. They have pale hands already. This wouldn't have been like an astonishment if Moses was a so-called white man. He was a so-called black man, a person who had melanin, because the Heavenly Father formed the nation of Israel in his image. And I already read that in the book of Daniel 10. His feet were like unto brass. In the book of Revelation, how Yahushua is going to return with a hair like wool. And so these are the depictions, and then these are the actions that Esau Edom has done to try to cover the faces of the judge thereof. So with that, I hope this video was edifying. I give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rachak Wadash, Shalom Akim.